Welcome to Building Whiteburg City. In this episode, I'll be building for you Duke Square and the Ellis Building, located here in Queen Anne's Corner, the financial district of the city. So let's get started on the street and the square park just below the main tower block before we get started on the building itself. To set the scene, I want to give you guys a bit of information on the building at hand. So the Ellis Tower will be a made-up skyscraper that I've designed based on Stockport Town Hall. Lots of liberties have been taken with that building, but there will be definitely some design motifs you'll see across there that I have incorporated quite well. The square is a small park sitting in front, mainly used to have townhouses surrounding it, but the in-game law is, because this area became so rich and densely populated, the single sort of dwelling houses no longer could fit for purpose, so they sold off the land and started building high-rises and apartment buildings around it while maintaining the nice little square garden in the front. I have named the Ellis Tower after my nan, who's passed away earlier this year, as that was her surname, and to also honour her memory I have named the park in front of it Duke Square as well, which was her maiden name. So this area definitely has a bit of emotion and a bit of family history for me, but I thought that was just a nice little way of doing so. So moving on to the main building itself. So this building, this skyscraper, as I said, is completely invented, made up on the spot almost, with liberties taken from that Stockport Town Hall, mainly just around the central section, and also when we get to the top story you'll see similarities between the spire on here. I'm using lots of different coloured walls, mainly pink wool here, to act as a sort of holding block for when I go through and actually texture this building. I've gone for a selection of white wool and also white concrete powder to be the main substitute for sort of Portland stone. The building itself was quite fun to do. Luckily at this front face here, it was able to just be flipped and copied, so I built the left hand side first and then flipped it across. Coming round to the rest of the sides of the buildings, the building isn't actually on a square plot. Two of the faces are angled, which really did make for quite an interesting shape. It was at this point here where I started figuring out that I need to take a step away from that inspiration and start throwing a few of my own ideas here. So that the actual upper levels here of the building are my own creations, and I really liked how these little pylons added to the sides of the buildings there with the little statues in. So the in-game lore for this building is it is the headquarters of the Whiteburg City Building Company, also known as WBC Builds. So this is kind of like my in-game headquarters where we operate building from. So no wonder it's this huge, massive building in the centre of town. It commands such a view and has so much viewpoints you'll see in the cinematic later. So this building is massive because the design office inside it is required to be huge in order to build pretty much every building across the world. So I thought it made sense to have it here as this sort of in-game sort of lore reason as to why this was the first building I started building in Whiteburg City. So we're coming around to the back of the building now, and you can see it's on an angle. And building on an angle is quite fun when you kind of have an idea of what you want to do. So for this, I took the front of the building, flipped it round, and then started sort of having a go at painting the wall with it to see how it would look across the entire face. And I think it worked out well. It was just when we got to the top of this section that I've realised I wanted to add a couple of extra little details, so I went for well, originally I was going to go for some Diocletian windows, but then I thought, these two archways look quite nice. The Diocletian window motif will appear later on as well on the sides, where I finally decided to actually put some big ones in. So this is one angled face, the other one was around this side as well, and in this central courtyard area I felt it was lacking something. So instead of just leaving it empty, I went ahead and put a glass dome and a glass roof in there to act as a sort of like sun house, glass house sort of thing, and in my head that's like the in-game atrium where people would go and eat. There'd be tables and chairs around their little canteen, so every day you would come down, you go to that main bit, and you can look back up at your offices from a very bewildering height. Now this is a kind of, like I said, an invented style, but it's almost a Beaux Arts style building. It's built in 1912, and I've gone through and tried my best to keep it in keeping with what skyscrapers would look like at that time. Obviously, because my country here is kind of based on England, we didn't really have skyscrapers like this, so it's definitely got a bit more of a New York feel to it. But once I start building these other townhouses and such around here, it will really start to bring it all together to make it into this unique style. So moving around to the final angled face here with the Diocletians on the top, I think this turned out really nicely, much better than I was expecting. So with the building complete, I kind of decided that actually there was a little bit more space off to one hand side in order to add a bit extra to. Now Duke Square is the little area, like I said, in front we built at the beginning, but it's also the name of the train station. So I added a little train station section just to the right hand side of his, you'll see in a second, which acted as the underground station. Now where I originally built it connected into the side of the skyscraper, I sort of felt it added a bit too much asymmetry to it, so I took it from there and moved it across to the other side of what will be this little church square. Building itself again was just invented based on the similar motifs and styles of the main skyscraper itself. So in the place of where the building was originally, I put a little park. So there we have it. This area is my first part of Whiteburg City that I've built in a very long time, and it's been really interesting just to get back into the flow of it, but not just that, just to actually see how this city is going to start growing with that big master plan underneath. If you want to see more about the master plan, there is a video you can check out on my channel for that. But still, here we go guys, it's time to jump in to that cinematic so you can see for yourself just how beautiful this city is starting to feel. But anyway guys, remember, get inspired, get building, and I'll leave you with this cinematic section now, and I'll join you next time where we'll be building some more buildings around here in Queen Anne's Corner. Until then, goodbye.